Charlotte. Tonight we are racing to honor and remember. Green flag is in the air. We are racing at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Two cars get together, now a big pack crashing.
Welcome to Charlotte Motor Speedway, race number 5 of the ARCA season. As we run in NASCAR's backyard, kicking off Memorial Day weekend as well as the best weekend in motor racing. It's the General Tire 150 on a perfect sunny night in North Carolina. 3 cars to watch this evening in the 97, a former ARCA champ a decade ago. It is indeed Grant Enfinger on this 76-degree night with southwest winds at 10 to 19 and the track temp near 120. There's Enfinger. He's going to do the double with the truck race later on tonight. Butterbean Queen already 2 wins. He won at Daytona and then 2 weeks ago at Kansas. And Garrett Mitchell, better known as Cletus McFarland, he's back. Top 10 at Talladega a month ago, making his 3rd start tonight, and it's on a 1.5 miles. Hi, everybody. Glad you're along. In the booth, Brett Stover alongside Phil Parsons. Let's start right there. The second of back-to-back 1.5 mile oval races. This one very much different, though, than Kansas.
Yeah, I mean, how different can it be, right? They're both 1.5 miles. Well, this place is way different than Kansas. Turns 1 and 2, a little bit docile. Most people don't have a whole lot of trouble in 1 and 2. But Kevin Harvick and Michael Waltrip said during truck qualifying that turns 3 and 4, that's the money turn down there. That's where the money's made. That's where the time is gained or lost down there. It's extremely rough. It's shaped different than 1 and 2 down there. These guys will have their hands full down there. And to add a little bit to the mix, they put traction compound in the 2nd and the 3rd lanes in both ends of the racetrack. So these ARCA drivers are going to have to decide, do I want to go up in that traction compound? It might give me more grip, or do I want to stay where it's safe down on the bottom? It's going to be fun to watch.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun here. An exciting night. Talk about some of the headliners coming in, but the General Tire Pole Award and a big-time surprise with Will Kimmel.
What a feel-good story for Will Kimmel. This is start number 138 of his in his ARCA career. He had a pole 8 years ago on the dirt, but Will Kimmel is no stranger to success, along with his dad, Bill Kimmel, his owner and crew chief. Bill was the architect of 8 championships with his brother Frank, obviously Will's uncle. But this team does not have the funding that these other teams do, probably a fraction of what some of these other teams are spending. So for them to make a statement like this and get that pole, Will's had 3 runner-up finishes in his career, looking for that first win. Maybe it's going to be tonight.
And we will find out. We documented Butterbean Queen, 2 wins, including the Kansas victory. Currently a 1-point lead on Lawless Allen and LeVar Scott. Short time ago on pit road, he caught up with our Amanda Busick.
Brendan Queen, affectionately known as Butterbean, comes into the 5th race of the season as the points leader and with 2 wins. And Brendan, you've been so honest about your growth and support that you've received here this season. How far are you exceeding your expectations?
I just, I think when we all believe in each other, like the sky is the limit. And when you surround yourself with good people like I have the past couple of years and then coming into the ARCA series, that's what it takes to win these races. And everybody at Pinnacle Racing Group got a new sponsor on board, Folsom Fence Supply. Not new to me, but new primary sponsor this week. It looked good climbing the fence in this new suit and heading to the Waffle House tonight.
Well, guys, as we looked it up, we were talking about it in our production meeting. You already know that Waffle House is 2.2 miles away from here, and that's the one he went to after the Kansas win.
I mean, it's a sensational story. We love personalities in NASCAR, and he is certainly one of the best here in the ARCA Menards series.
If he wins this thing and goes to Waffle House, we might have to stop by there too.
Oh, we definitely will. A 27-year-old from Chesapeake, Virginia, running a Chevrolet for Pinnacle Racing Group. Brendan Butterbean Queen. He's certainly one of the favorites. Sawalich, always a guy as well. He looked good in practice and qualifying. This thing could be pretty open. 5, 6, maybe 7 cars up front that have a real good chance.
Yeah, without a doubt. And there's a lot of these drivers that have a lot of experience here at Charlotte, but it's on the quarter mile that goes down the front straightaway and pit road. It's connected by 2 little corners, that legend cars.
Back down trackside now for the command to kick off this phenomenal weekend in Charlotte.
Charlotte Motor Speedway, here to say the most famous words in motorsports. Service manager of Pope Davis Tire and Automotive, representing General Tire, Jonas Bryson. Drivers, start your engines!
Indeed it is the best weekend in motorsports, and we kick it all off in the ARCA Menard Series coming up from Charlotte. Back to Queen City. It's NASCAR's home weekend, and we begin in the ARCA Menard Series, the General Tire 150. Gonna dial up our guy, Cletus McFarland, Garrett Mitchell momentarily, but you know, you talk about this guy, whenever he comes to town, he's bringing a lot with him, and in this case, he flew his chopper to Concord, North Carolina this week, went to the R&D Center, did some pit road practice. Heck, we couldn't even get time with him in the garage today because he was so busy.
There he is, practicing changing tires. He was a little more to it than just grabbing that jack. And here he is driving the pit stop car. Let's listen in.
I love this sport. I love NASCAR. Dude.
Oh, beautiful. His third race of the season, running the number 30. Let's dial him up, Phil.
Yeah, let's try to get a hold of him. Hey, Cletus, Phil Parsons, Brent Stover in the Fox booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got you guys.
First of all, brother, great job at Talladega fighting for that top 10 finish, but here you are at Charlotte. This is nothing like Daytona and Talladega, the experience you have, is it?
Yeah, I'd say I'm using about 99.8 of my driving ability here at Charlotte. It's about 26.2 times harder than a super speedway. I was fighting for my life qualifying. I'm not going to sugarcoat it, brother.
Well, man, you were solid in practice and a great qualifying effort. But the thing I'm a little bit worried about, your co-owner and crew chief, Mark Redd, had to leave for his son's high school graduation. And you got a guy in the box that maybe doesn't have a lot of experience. Maybe some of the people, some of our viewers have heard of him, Greg Zipadelli. What do you think of that?
Yeah, we got Zippy in the box, which is super cool. You know, him and Tony Stewart did some great things, and I'm proud to just be able to do something like this with him and my boy Greg Biffle and all these guys. It's going to be a lot of fun.
All right, buddy, thanks for talking to us. Have a great race.
Legendary crew chief, 34 career cup wins on top of the box for Tony Stewart, including 2 championships on top of the box for Joey Logano as well. So Zippy on there for the 30. Let's take a look at the General Tire 150 starting grid here tonight. And we talked about the pole, big time surprise with Will Kimmel and William Sawalich on the outside of row 1.
Yeah, no surprise to see William Sawalich up there, as well as Brendan Butterbean Queen back in row number 2. But how about Austin Green? His first start here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Won a lot of legend car races on the quarter mile here.
And he's running some Xfinity races again this year as well. His second straight year in that series. LeVar Scott in second with points. He's always somewhere between 4th and 6th. He wants to get that first win.
Yeah, Lawless Allen, that big win at Talladega earlier this year, looking for win number 2. And there's a man, Cletus, back in row number 6 with Cole Raz, who's had a couple good starts in the ARCA Series, a couple 6th-place finishes this year.
Don't sleep on Spencer Gallagher there in row number 8 in the 23 car. Tony Cosentino in row 9, along with Tim Richmond. You got Jeff Schofield and Brian Doza in row 10.
You see Matt Kemp had a top 5 finish at Flat Rock in the East Series last week. Great job there for Andy Hillenberg, and Ryan Roulette will start 24th.
32 cars, largest field since ARCA returned here to this track in 2018. Kitzmiller is not going to be able to start the race, but they do get some points here in that 79, part of the package here in the ARCA Menards Series. One more time before we drop the green flag down to pit road, and we begin with Alex Weaver. Good evening, Alex.
Good evening, guys. It is such a beautiful night here at Charlotte Motor Speedway, and you guys have already talked about it pre-race. There is a veteran driver missing from that entry list, and it's Jason Kitzmiller. He obviously is still running and ineligible for those championship points, but he has dropped out of the number 97 tonight to go and watch his daughter Addison graduate from high school. Now, Addison is not just graduating, she's her valedictorian of her class. So it's a really big week for that family. And I talked to Jason earlier when he did participate in practice, and he told me that racing means a lot, but nothing comes before family. Not to worry, however, the number 97 is in great hands, pulling double duty tonight. A Truck Series regular of Grant Enfinger will hop inside that car. And speaking with Grant, he says he's excited to get after it, and he told me that there is one goal tonight, making his 100th ARCA Menards Series start and going after that 17th victory. He just wants to keep that team planted firmly in the spotlight. So we'll see what he can get after here at Charlotte. Amanda?
Well, Alex, over his 30-race career, LeVar Scott has finished in the top 5 18 times, including 2 runner-up finishes last season. But he is tired of hearing that question, when is the first win, LeVar? He said he knows that the team is getting closer and closer. His crew chief, Glenn Parker, spent 50 hours in the shop this week ahead of this race to prepare. And LeVar said his mindset, while he used to be nervous, he's now excited and prepared. If LeVar wants to stop that nagging question tonight, he'll start it from the 5th row. Guys?
You got it. Good job, Amanda. Alex as well. He was second in points last year. He's got a 4th, a 5th, a 6th, and a 5th in 4 starts so far this season. Race number 5 of 20 coming here tonight in Charlotte on a picture-perfect night. 100 laps and 150 miles.
Yeah, let's take a look at this race analysis. The General Tire 150, as you mentioned, 100 laps, 150 miles. Our pit window is somewhere between 60 and 65 laps. We will have a scheduled caution at lap 50, and our 2024 winner was Tanner Gray in that 18 car that Sawalich is driving tonight.
Well, we always talk about Sunday, the F1 at Monaco, followed by the Indy 500, and then, of course, the Coke 600. But it all gets started here tonight. 3 onboard cameras, Lawless Allen in the General Tire for that number 20 car.
We're also going to ride along with Grant Enfinger. That's going to be the Sioux Chief Fast Track on board in that 97 car, and our buddy
Cletus McFarland in the machined Cletus flag. I mean, he basically sponsors everything. He brings a ton to the table, including the personality and the money necessary, and now providing opportunities. And there's that Sioux Chief Fast Track, the 97 of Enfinger, filling in for Jason Kitzmiller, who is at his daughter's graduation. She is the valedictorian of her class, so he is there. Pace car pulls off. The field of 32 picks up speed. Green flag in the air, and we are underway at Charlotte Motor Speedway.
Nice start by our pole sitter, Will Kimmel. The conditions are way different than last year. At least 10 degrees cooler this time than we were last year. We were high 80s when we started this race last year.
We talked to Bill Kimmel, the crew chief for Will. Said, how good was this car rolling off today? He said, we thought we had a top 5 car, didn't know we would win the pole. Now we want to go out and try to win this race.
And this car, let me tell you about the ARCA Menards Series. This car that Will's driving, as we see a great battle between Butterbean in the 28 and Sawalich in the 18. Let's watch this battle before we talk about Will's car.
Sawalich and Butterbean, same thing as we saw at Kansas for the win. Queen in the 28, Sawalich in the 18.
We've talked so many times about the battle between the 18 and the 28, and certainly we have the same situation. Nice move by Sawalich. Drives in hard on the bottom of the racetrack to grab that second spot.
He wraps the bottom, Phil, and that's something you talked about when we were watching him in practice. He was really good today.
He really was. His race pace was extremely good. Butterbeans got better as the practice went on, but Sawalich was solid the entire time.
Got a car pulling down a pit road early on with issues. That is the number 9 car. We continue on working lap number 3 of 100 with Kimmel in the lead in the 69 car.
How about that 82? That's the second car out of the Pinnacle Racing stable. That car actually finished second to that 18 of Tanner Gray last year, driven by Carson Quapple.
82 of Austin Green. His dad, of course, the 1994 Xfinity champ. That would be David Green.
His uncle also was an Xfinity champ.
Right. Making his second career ARCA start. His last one was at Toledo back in 2020. He finished 7th. Enfinger will be a guy to watch in that 97 tonight, no doubt about it, right in front of Austin Green.
Watch him paint that blue line down there with those left side tires right down there on the paint. I tell you, it's a great opportunity for Austin to follow Grant Enfinger and see what he can learn. He may decide, I don't want to follow him anymore, try to get by him, but Grant Enfinger is a terrific race car driver. Always a threat for the championship in the Truck Series.
Enfinger, 2015 ARCA champ. You mentioned in the trucks, he was second in points back in 2023. Currently 5th in points here in 2025.
See, the front stretch has some shade on it. We'll get some shade down in 1 and 2. We already have a little bit of shade down there in 1 and 2, and that as the race wears on, the night wears on, and you see obviously the exit of turn 2 still has sunlight on it. Well, that'll be all shaded, and that'll change this racetrack, something the crew chiefs will have to keep up with.
Talking about Austin Green in that 82. He had 3 top 10s in the Xfinity Series last year. 7th at Coda, 4th at Sonoma, and 10th on the streets of Chicago as well.
Yeah, Austin really does a nice job on the road courses as well as the oval, but he ran a lot of Trans Am TA2 over the last couple of years. Now he's getting his opportunity to run some stock cars, as you mentioned, here in the ARCA Series with Pinnacle and in the Xfinity Series as well.
Talking about Austin Green, today's Rookie Spotlight brought to you by Bounty is that number 82 car, and we've already touched on some of his tremendous accomplishments at the age of 24.
A lot of wins here at Charlotte, as I mentioned before, but they were all in the quarter mile here on the front stretch in Bandoleros and Legends cars.
So he runs in 5th in the 82 car in front of Andy Jankowiak in the 73, chasing the 97 of Enfinger in that red and gray car.
See, Sawalich has chased down Will Kimmel.
He's been so good on the bottom, and he gets to that left rear quarter panel of the leader, Kimmel.
That's where that 18 car was so good in practice, just consistent lap after lap after lap. Will Kimmel was the fastest car in practice, but you see Sawalich now going to try to take this lead.
He just rips the bottom of the speedway, again getting to that quarter panel, but Kimmel for the moment able to hold him off as they get into lap traffic.
Yeah, I think it's just going to be a matter of time now. That 18 car is so solid. You see Will getting loose down there as he tries to lap the 57 of Brian Doza.
Kimmel, the 37-year-old from Sellersburg, Indiana.
Had a great run here last year, finished 4th, and I started to talk about his car. That same car right there has raced at Daytona. It's raced on the dirt. It's raced on short tracks and road courses.
Hard to believe that he's in the position he is tonight after finishing 25th at Kansas 2 weeks ago. There's Sawalich in the interval times that he's laying down early on in this race, working lap number 10.
He's already put a number of cars a lap down. Down now to 19 cars on the lead lap. Remember, we will have a scheduled caution at lap 50 gives all these teams an opportunity to come down, put tires and fuel in these cars.
Full Raz is off. You see a number of cars a lap down that you mentioned. 19 still in the lead lap. Isabella Robusto there is running just inside the top 10 in the 55 for Venturini.
It looked like Sawalich had a little bit of momentum to go by on the inside, and Will said, no, I'm going to use that inside. A lot of heavy traffic for these drivers now as they get down in 1 and 2.
We wondered what this track would look like as they got higher and higher with that traction compound that you talked about early on in the telecast, Phil.
Yeah, we see these cars using some of that traction compound. That's what Will Kimmel's doing right now.
The surprise winner on the pole here tonight in Charlotte, Will Kimmel, maintains the advantage on Sawalich, lap number 12. A lot happened in the General Tire 150 from Charlotte Motor Speedway when we went to break. Let's start with the 28 car. Butterbean was running third. Blows a right front and hits the wall here as he tags the fence.
Yeah, see him down in 3 and 4. He just gets a little bit high. I think the tire was already going down. He makes some pretty significant contact with the safer barrier. Obviously, cars go by. There's the green going by. Tough break for him. Now he finds himself.
And then right after that, our pole sitter and the man who led the first 12 laps, the 69 of Will Kimmel, some kind of issue, and he pulls down pit road.
I've got to believe that's probably an engine issue of somewhat. We see a lot of the Ilmor engines with electrical problems, but this is a legacy engine. This is an OEM Ford engine that Will was running. You see him take the hard left-hand turn into the garage here. What a tough break for Will Kimmel.
Led the first 12 laps. He's in the garage. The 28 now is going to be way to the back of the field. And that man, William Sawalich, who I think we both felt was the most dominant car in practice today, and he's got the lead by 1.3 seconds.
Yeah, Butterbean now finds himself 2 laps down, which is going to be very, very tough to overcome. He might have to employ a little strategy to try to do that, but right now William Sawalich has a little bit over a 1 second lead over that 97 of Grant Enfinger. Austin Green right now running in the 3rd spot.
Sawalich in the Joe Gibbs Racing Toyota, 9 wins last year, 2nd at Daytona, 9th at Talladega, and 2nd at Kansas 2 weeks ago. A couple of top 10s in the Xfinity Series, running a full schedule for the first time in his career in the Xfinity Series. Meantime, Enfinger making moves early on in this race. As the 97, driven by Enfinger, started 6th, then he's up into 2nd behind Sawalich. Sawalich led 61% of all laps in his last 18 starts, 10 wins during that time.
Now we talked about Grant Enfinger making his 100th career start, looking for win number 17. Well, William Sawalich has made 30 starts, and he already has 13 wins in his career. He won 9 of 14 starts last year in the ARCA Menard Series. He wasn't old enough to run all the racetracks. He didn't turn 18 till after our season ended.
It's incredible. And he hasn't, had it translate perhaps the way some would expect the Xfinity Series so far. He's taken his lumps there. Now, Butterbean again with a right front that went down, hit the wall. He's a couple of laps down, but back out there running 21st after starting 3rd for Brendan Queen. And Amanda has more.
You're right, Brent. Yeah, our Kansas race will have to make up some ground here. They did come down to pit road, took 4 tires. It was that right front that went down. As you said, he was telling on the radio that I cannot turn this race car. After he rejoined the pack with those 4 new tires, he told his team, this is a brand new race car. So let's see what Butterbean can do here.
Defending Cars Tour champ has been sensational so far this season. We'll see what he can do running from 21st.
I've been watching the lap times. He's running some really fast lap times. Obviously, a little bit fresher tires than his competitors, but there's nothing wrong with that race car. He still has some speed. Just has to somehow figure out how to get to at least 1 lap down. Then he would be eligible for the waiver round.
We talked about the fuel window. Obviously, maybe 60, 65 laps, somewhere in there. Is that fair? Or
yeah, I think so. And he may elect him when we get that schedule caution at lap 50 to stay on the racetrack and gamble a little bit to take the waiver round, because we know if we don't get a caution before that, the entire field will come down pit road on lap number 50.
All right, let's find out what happened to Will Kimmel. Amanda's with him.
Yeah, and he was taking a long, hard look at this race car, shaking his head and saying, man, this is part of it. And Will, we talked prior to the race, and you said that you race impactful, that this is you and your dad's business. I have to tell you, for those first 12 laps, your family was on their feet watching you. When did you know something was wrong?
We come off 2, and I think it broke a valve spring is what happened here, because it kind of fumbled a little bit, and I stayed in it. And then went down on 7 pretty hard. So, and then it got to where it won't run. We just tried to spin it over, and it's hurt pretty good. I think everything stayed inside. So, just heartbreak. The 18 had run us back down. We were getting free, and we were kind of ready for that. This place acts like a big Salem. So, man, he's gonna be tough to beat. But we were close today, and I gotta think. Waiting to Custom Home, Jailbreaker Potato Chips, Excel Hydraulics, Jack's Wax, E3, DEI, Brims Vinyl, Stick 'em Up, Clarksville Schwinn, everybody that is behind me, AFCO Racing, I don't know. It's hard to be upset. We went out leading, we blew up running first at Charlotte, so I can't be too upset, but you got to kind of think what could have been here. So I'll be home soon. William, Waylon, Ella, I'll see y'all in a little bit. I'm sure they're yelling at the TV if Waylon hasn't broke it yet. So we'll head home here in a little bit.
Phil, how do you describe that emotion?
It's there's so many highs and lows in this sport. Obviously, such a high getting that pole here at Charlotte, and now such a low. But he has nothing to hang his head on. He can hold his head high. He showed these guys that they were there, and they can be competitive when they have a chance.
Heartbreaking, though, in the end after he led the first 12 laps before breaking a valve spring. Lap 30 at Charlotte. Sawalich out front by nearly 3 seconds. ARCA Racing on FS1 is brought to you by General Tire, hashtag GT Delivers, and by Reese's. Reese's Peanut Butter Cups. Reese's, not sorry. America's home for racing, kicking off Memorial Day weekend. Just finished the longest green flag stretch to start a race at Charlotte since ARCA returned in 2018, but under caution because of debris here at the moment. A lot has happened already over the first quarter of this race.
This is going to be an interesting time for these crew chiefs. You know, we're going to pit on lap 33 here if they come down pit road. Probably these guys could make it to the end of the race. We'll see what Sawalch. You see what Sawalch is coming down pit road. Grant Enfinger says, if you're coming down pit road, I'm not coming down pit road. We're going to do the opposite, but he's going to bring some of the cars on the lead lap with him.
All the cars that come down pit road, they will leave pit road in the same position, but the cars that stay out get to move ahead, obviously, of these. Let's go down to pit road with Amanda.
Hey guys, yeah, I was talking to a couple of the teams ahead of this, and they were saying that it's possible that teams here can stay out to the end if they take fuel here, but it will be really tight. You can see the 82 taking tires there. Said that he was tight in 3 and 4 and needs more front turn. And then on to the 6 of LeVar Scott. As we know, guys, he wants to get away from that question that's on that first win, but he is battling a very, very loose race car. Alex?
Yeah, pitting from the lead, the 18 machine there of Sawalch. He says that he's starting to get a little loose on the bottom. He thinks he got a little bit into the resin that they put down on the racetrack. The moving up is helping him, but the bottom is still the best. He's asking for, obviously, those fresh tires. They're telling him just to be patient in that lap traffic and take care of his air.
So 4 fresh tires for the 18, who gives up the lead here as he comes down.
Remember now, these ARCA teams can put fuel and tires, these cars, but they have to do it separately. They have to wait till one is done and then do the other. Some teams will change the tires first and then fuel, and obviously we saw with Sawalch, he made sure they got it full of fuel first and then they put the tires on.
So packed full of fuel, 4 new tires for the 18. Enfinger takes over the lead, and again a scheduled race break at or around lap number 50, the halfway mark. It's the General Tire 150 from Charlotte Motor Speedway. General Tire 150 from Charlotte. 65 to go. Enfinger takes over the lead. He stays out as Sawalich came down and took tires and fuel. Let's take a look at today's Sioux Chief Fast Track driver. It is the number 97, the veteran, 40 years of age, Grant Enfinger.
Yeah, we talk about the fact that he won that ARCA championship, 16 career wins. He also has 12 career wins in the Truck Series. He's made the championship for both of the last 2 years in the Truck Series, and he will be a contender again this year. So great race car driver, great opportunity for him to jump in this ARCA car and help this team too.
Yeah.
We talk about Frank Kimmel being the crew chief, calling the shots on this team, but they get a really good gauge on where they are right now. It's a brand new race car for this team, so it's a good opportunity to shake it down with a guy like Grant Enfinger.
And Alex has more on him.
Yeah, Brent, you guys are mentioning our new leader, the 97 of Grant Enfinger, and how he is a veteran driver. He knows what he wants inside of a race car, and the team and Frank Kimmel were calling him down to pit road. He said, no, I think I need to stay out. I'd rather not come now. If I can make it to lap 50, I'm going to need tires late in this race.
Yeah, these teams will have 8 tires on pit road. Obviously, we saw William Sawalich, among others, put 4 tires on. Now, that means he has one more set of tires in the pits. Now, Grant Enfinger will come in at the mid-race caution flag and put tires on then. His tires will be a little bit fresher than William Sawalich's will be. I'm assuming William Sawalich will stay on the racetrack. If he doesn't stay on the racetrack, then it would not behoove him to put his last set of tires on that early at lap 50.
Top 3 stayed out. Enfinger in the 97, Cletus McFarland in the 30, and Isabella Robusto in the 55 for Venturini.
How about Cletus? You know he's got to be excited to be running up there in the second spot. He will restart this race on the front row with Grant Enfinger. Grant will decide whether he wants the inside or the outside for this restart, and Cletus will get the other row, but it's got to be pretty cool for Cletus.
Started 11th, currently second. Top 10 a month ago at Talladega. He had engine issues that he battled through and really showed a lot.
Yeah, he lost a cylinder, and then his spotter helped him remain calm and got him in good positions all night, have a pusher behind him, stay tucked up in the draft. And, you know, he's no slouch, too. He was running 7th before that caution flag came out, so he has really been doing a nice job tonight.
First time for him on a 1.5 miles. He ran at Daytona as well as Talladega, got wrecked out at Daytona, ended up joining you guys up in the booth. Obviously, that was entertaining. And then at Talladega, it was entertaining to watch him battle back from the cylinder that you talked about, and also the fact that he almost got wrecked in that race as well.
Yeah, this is going to be he's going to have some really fast cars behind him. Obviously, Sawalich with 4 fresh tires, who's been the class of the field once we had lost Will Kimmel. He's going to be right behind Cletus. See Isabella, that Mobile 1, number 55 on the inside, row number 2. She's another one of the drivers, as you mentioned, stayed out. The top 3 stayed out on the racetrack.
So Sawalich will restart on the outside, row number 2. But it's Enfinger on the bottom of row 1 with Cletus McFarland in the 30 on his outside.
We have so much experience on the inside with Grant Enfinger and 0 experience on the outside with Cletus.
Amazing. This is going to be fun to watch. .62 to go and they come to the line.
Oh, look at, no!
Oh, he spun the tires and then spinning into the walls, the 55 of Robusto, and the caution flag flies.
And look at the carnage that caused. Cletus spun the tires and was trying his best to regain control of that car, but unfortunately got into Isabella, and that's what started this. There's Spencer Gallagher, among others, that got caught up in this. There's Brian Doza in the 57. But look at the damage. I'm telling you, other than Talladega, Isabella has had 0 luck. And look at the damage on our fastest car of the night, the 18, the Starkey car for William Sawalich.
Damage on the left front. You see a piece there waving in the wind.
The nose, too. A lot of damage on the nose. I'm sure Matt Ross will probably bring Sawalich back down pit road. See, there's a hole. There's a hole in that front valence right underneath the headlight, right there on the left side. That would be a distinct aero disadvantage, so I'm sure Matt Ross is looking at these pictures right here, and he will bring him down pit road. But let's take a look at Brent and see what happened here. We know that Cletus spun the tires, and that's what precipitated this.
Nowhere to go for the 55. Robusto, you mentioned her bad luck continues.
Yeah, just totally innocent. Look at all the contact from the 23 of Spencer Gallagher. A little bit of fire under the hood of that car as well. Yeah, so unfortunate. I think Cletus would have held on to that car, and obviously did hold on to it, but he made contact with Isabella. If Isabella hadn't been in the wrong place at the wrong time, no fault of hers, I think Cletus would have straightened it out.
Lawless Allen got caught up in that as well. He, of course, won in Talladega in that 20 car.
See, that's Lawless Allen's on board, the Journal Tire on board. See it make contact with a 31 car there of Eric Goodale. Rick Goodale, excuse me.
Tim Richmond caught up in it as well. A lot of good cars. They've got damage here, including the 30, and unfortunately it was Cletus that started it by spinning the tires on the restart. With his Machine Cletus flag on board in that 30 car, you see the disappointment.
Yeah, I think Zippy probably needs to bring Cletus down pit road and maybe do some repairs on that left front as well. Or they may figure they can ride it out until the lap 50. We'll have another scheduled caution more than likely at lap 50.
See, Robusto is out of her car following a disappointment. She wrecked late, finished 13th at Kansas 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, that's the damage on Spencer Gallagher's car. That will be terminal.
Schofield, Sawalich, Allen, Gallagher, Richmond, McFarland, Goodale, Robusto, and Doza. See, at 55 on the hook, and we saw her get out of the car moments ago.
We saw all the damage to some of these cars, and they're not even out of second gear yet. And that's how much damage you can get at this racetrack.
A lot of twists and turns in the first 40 laps here tonight. And Charlotte kicking off this fantastic weekend of racing at the home of NASCAR here in Charlotte, North Carolina, with the 30 car causing a big-time pileup. ARCA Racing on FS1 is brought to you by Menards. Save big money at Menards. And by Bounty. Bounty, the quicker picker-upper. The General Tire 150. A lot of drama so far. Cletus McFarland on pit road spun the tires on the restart moments ago. Let's go back and just listen and see what happened on that last restart attempt with the 30.
Spin the tires, and when that happened, Sawallich may have gotten to the back of him because he did not have any forward momentum. So just one of those situations. You know, obviously Cletus has never started one of these races up front on the front row like he was, and these things have over 600 horsepower. It's hard to get these things hooked up.
Let's get more from Amanda.
Yeah, guys, I was talking to Cletus ahead of this race, and he said, this is exactly where I want to be right now. I want to be in this ARCA Menard series and continue to learn. You see him hit the wheel there. Prior to that restart, as you guys took a look at, his team reminded him, make sure to warm up the tires and get that rubber off before the restart. I don't know if that's exactly what happened there, but as you see him taking in probably the frustration of that moment, he said, man, I blew it there. What a rookie move.
Well, now he's got to put it behind him and bounce back here.
Yeah, he's still on the lead lap. We're only showing 11 cars on the lead lap right now. That took a number of our lead lap cars out of contention, unfortunately.
So he's the final car restarting on the lead lap. Sawallich has got damage to the front. He's led 20 laps.
That's the repairs.
That's
that
the
car
repairs.
Right there.
He's in 10th. Of course, he has led 20. Kimmel led the first 12, and then he blew an engine, and then Enfinger led 11 as well.
I think Matt Ross's guys did a nice job of making the repairs on this 18 car. It may even be more aerodynamic now than it was before, Brent.
Let's check in with Alex.
You guys are looking at that heavy front damage there on the 18 of William Sawallich. He obviously came across the radio a little frustrated. They told him to bring it to him, and they're going to make sure that they fix that damage. They put a ton of tape on the front of that car, as you guys see them working on it right now on pit road. But after the incident on the restart, Sawallich came across the radio very frustrated and said, went exactly how I thought it would.
Were you surprised when he came down in the first place and gave up the lead on that first caution?
A little bit, but I know Matt Ross knows he has a good race car and felt like possibly he could get there from the end. Now, obviously, that's going to change the strategy. I think if his car drives okay, we'll have a handful of laps before that scheduled caution that he will stay on the racetrack, and we know that Grant Enfinger has not pitted yet, and he will come down pit road. So Grant Enfinger will lose that lead if anybody stays on the racetrack that's on the lead lap, and I'm assuming that Sawallich will, as long as his car drives okay.
Well, for the moment, it's the 97 in front, and that is the 40-year-old Grant Enfinger. Well, just 2 days, it's the biggest day in motorsports. As the greatest spectacle in racing, the 109th Indy 500 comes to Fox with Joseph Newgarden going for an historic three-peat. Coverage begins at 10 a.m. Eastern Sunday on Fox, and if he's going to do it, he will have to come from the back of the field.
Yes, he will. And you talk about the biggest day in motorsports, that is exactly right. One of my favorite days of the year, all-time favorite days of the year. It's going to be so much fun. A lot of racing on Sunday.
Kyle Larson will start 19th. And of course, you got Schwartzman, Robert Schwartzman, a rookie, first rookie on the pole at the Indy 500 since '83. Great storyline there as well.
First oval he's ever raced.
Amazing.
Unbelievable.
So Enfinger will be at the point. Austin Green, who we've documented the success he's had the last couple of years in the Xfinity Series, running his second ARCA Menard Series race tonight, and his first in 5 years, finds himself in second place. And then LeVar Scott, still searching for that first win in the number 6 car, will restart third.
Grant Enfinger, the only car that has not been to pit road that's on the lead lap right now. We're going to restart this race with 46 laps completed. So the ARC officials say that the scheduled caution will be somewhere around lap 50. Because we just had a caution, they may extend that a few laps beyond 50. but we'll wait and see here. But we know Grant Enfinger has to come to pit road.
Thad Moffitt will start on the outside of row number 2 in that 46 car. Finished second a month ago at Talladega, 16th 2 weeks ago at Kansas. Of course, the grandson of the King, Richard Petty. Pace car pulls down pit road. Cars back up to speed into the quad oval here at Charlotte. 54 to go. When they come to the line, green flag back in the air. Door with the 97 on the outside of the 82. That's Enfinger.
A little bit fresher tires on that 82 of Austin Green. See him side drafting a little bit on that 97.
Into the center of the corner.
See, the turn 4 now is in shade. That'll give these drivers a little bit more grip.
Side by side, door to door. 53 to go with Green on the inside, the 82 of the 97 Enfinger.
See, the 97 of Enfinger is up in that traction compound, that resin. A little bit more grip, possibly. That stuff appears to be activated down there.
Still nearly even into turn 3 where those bumps are that everybody talks about here at Charlotte.
Those bumps are serious. I was talking to Matt Ross. He did a track walk. He's Sawalch's crew chief. He said you could see him walking around the racetrack. You could see the bumps.
Austin Green edges out in front, and he is at the point, our 4th different leader of the night here at Charlotte.
Remember, that's the same car, same team that Butterbean drives for, but same car that Carson Quapple finished second here last year to that 18 car.
Pinnacle Racing Group Chevrolet for Austin Green.
How about Andy Jankowiak here, going to try to grab that second spot.
He wants a piece of the 97 and gets into him, and
he almost got a piece.
Pushed him up the racetrack. Good battle for second, and pulling away is Austin Green by 0.7 of a second.
See, Sawalch now has moved up into the 4th spot. Appears that's 18 car of Sawalch's is okay.
Sawalch pulls in front of the 6 of LeVar Scott. So those are your top 5, and Andy J now falls off a little bit, and Enfinger controls second.
We saw Sawalch get a little bit tight when he pulled up on the back bumper of Jankowiak. Lost a little bit of ground down there in 3 and 4.
And again, that scheduled race break could come now at any moment. We just had a caution, though, as you alluded to, that maybe they'll go a few extra laps here before throwing that next car, and there it is.
A few extra seconds they went.
So the mid-race break here with Austin Green at the point, followed by Enfinger and Jankowiak.
It was a bit of an anxious moment coming off turn 4 for Andy J, trying to grab that second spot from Enfinger.
Well, here's Reese's Sweet Move of the race nominee. You can visit ARCARacing.com on Monday at 3 to see who's crowned Reese's Sweet Move of the race.
It was. He kept that car straight, kept it off the 97 of Grant Enfinger, which I'm sure Grant appreciated.
So good battle between that 73 and the 97. The Sioux Chief Fast Track on board of the 97 Enfinger, who loses the lead to Austin Green and runs in second place. CR7 Motorsports in that Chevrolet, a veteran from Fairhope, Alabama. Scheduled race break at the midpoint here in Charlotte. Welcome back to Charlotte, the General Tire 150. The midpoint. Take a look at the Richmond mid-race report, and there's been a lot of twists and turns and excitement and drama so far in this one.
It certainly has. See, we've had 4 leaders, 3 lead changes. We've got 11 cars right now. Actually, we'll be 12 cars on the lead lap once the waiver round is completed. We've had 3 cautions. As we talked about, Grant Enfinger did, in fact, come down pit road, but our top 5 cars, I think, stayed on the racetrack. So Austin Green and Andy Jankowiak, Sawalich, LeVar Scott, and Thad Moffitt all have stayed on the racetrack. There's a shot of the 97 of Grant Enfinger.
So he comes down for the first time tonight on pit road, giving up his second place position. By the way, the 10 car Tony Cosentino got the free pass. So when let's get some reports from our pit reporters down on pit road. We begin with Amanda.
As you take a look there at Cletus McFarland leaving pit road, they did come down. They were assessing front end damage on that 30 as well. They took their time to make sure that that looked pretty good before sending him out ahead of that pack coming back around. They made sure to fill up that car as well and see what Cletus can do now in trying to rectify that rookie mistake. Alex?
Yeah, the 97 of Grant Enfinger came down pit road, and we talked about that long run on those tires for him. As soon as the caution fell, he came on the radio and said, "Sorry guys, my tires were so tired." They brought him down pit road, reminded him that he's not going to lose anything on pit road, to stay calm, don't push it. They gave him 4 tires and fuel, a few adjustments, and reminded him to take a look up on the racetrack with the resin and tell him that they think that they can put 2 right tires up there on entry and then drive off, but to test it out those opening laps.
Yeah, we've seen some cars up there, Alex, and I think that resin worked. And we saw the truck series. Some of the trucks actually qualified up there. I was asking Kevin Harvick and Michael Waltrip when we got up to the booth, and he said that definitely resin was important. You know, we talked about Cletus's co-owner and crew chief, Mark Rett, is not here because he's at his son's graduation. Well, he texted me a little bit. He goes, "Tell him to pit. Tell him to pit."
Well, there was the spin from the 30, the 55 in.
Yeah, there's Tim Richmond, another victim of circumstances. 57, Brian Doza also involved. 10 cars in all were involved in that thing. And you can see some of the repairs they've made to that 30 of Cletus McFarland. Looks like they need to come back in and attach that Barabond a little bit better to that left front corner.
Barabond is flapping a little bit. Left front corner, to your point. By the way, you mentioned the trucks. How about Tricon Garage? 1, 2, and 3. And Gio Ruggiero gets his first pole. That's going to be fun tonight.
Yes, it is. We know that Corey Heim has been so dominant all year long in the truck series. Doesn't have as many wins as he probably should have. And obviously, most recently, Wilkesboro was leading on the last lap and didn't get the win. But those Tricon trucks are awfully strong.
Stealing your words, but it is a really stacked field tonight.
It is. It really is. It's so deep. That truck series is incredibly deep. All the way from front to back.
Yeah, guys like Ankrum and Crafton and Ben Rhodes starting deep in the field. Got Kyle Busch. You got he's starting right around 10th, I believe, and Enfinger obviously doing the double. He's going to start 18th. That'll be 8:30 Eastern, the Truck Series race right here at Charlotte Motor Speedway, race number 2 of 4 this weekend.
Yeah, big weekend here. Big Xfinity race tomorrow. And then the 600 on Sunday. 600 miles, Brent.
Boy, I would love to see Kyle Larson make some. I hope he gets to run them all.
I do
and
too.
Obviously there's some potential weather at Indianapolis, but let's just hope it stays away and he can run them both. One to go here with 44 remaining. The ARCA Menard Series race number 5 of 20, back-to-back mile-and-a-halves. We were at Kansas 2 weeks ago. We've had a couple of super speedways, been at Phoenix as well. Got a bunch of short tracks coming up. We'll have a road course at Watkins Glen. We'll be on the dirt as well. It's going to really get fast and furious now as we get into the summer months.
It will. You know, we talked about Grant Enfinger being a little bit of a tire disadvantage on that last restart. Well, now he has better tires than everybody that's starting in front of him. So I bet you he enjoys that part of it.
So Enfinger will roll off 6th on this restart. Jankowiak becomes our 5th different leader of the night. So Walich has led 20, Enfinger 15, Kimmel 12 before He blew an engine green 8. Now Jankowiak at the 73 takes it over and starts on the outside of that 82 of green.
See a little bit of a sun issue for just a moment over there in turn 4. Important restart here for these cars up front on older tires.
Austin Green on the inside of the 73. Jankowiak back under green at Charlotte.
Sawallich is on the inside trying to push the 82 of green by Jankowiak. Watch that 97 Grant tries to get to the high side of LeVar Scott. He got there.
Sawallich to the inside of the 73, followed closely by the 6th of Scott. On board with Enfinger.
Good battle right up here in front of Grant Enfinger. LeVar Scott the 6 on the inside. Jankowiak the 73 on the outside.
Austin Green pulling away as he reclaims the lead off that restart. Sawallich moving up to second after a really good push from the inside.
Grant Enfinger says, I'm tired of riding behind you guys running side by side. He makes it 3 wide. Going to try a 2 for 1.
3 wide with the 97. Enfinger in front of the 6 of LeVar Scott.
Looked like Andy J got a little bit up high, got the right sides above the traction compound, it looked like, and lost a little bit of ground.
Jankowiak started on the outside of row 1. He has fallen back to 5th.
Now Grant has some clean racetrack. We'll see what those new tires are able to do. But remember, there weren't that many laps on the tires for Sawallich and even for Austin Green either, because we had so many caution laps. Grant had a little bit of momentum, bottom of your screen. Pulls down to the inside and does the twofer. Grabs those 2 positions.
2 for 1 for Enfinger. And he's back up into 3rd. Now trying to chase down the 18 of William Sawallich.
Austin Green has really run up some good lap times. That last lap just a little bit quicker than Sawallich, who's chasing him. We'll see what Grant Enfinger is able to run this time with clean racetrack. Sawallich was the fastest car of that lap. Grant Enfinger the 2nd fastest car. But Austin Green was only about a 1/10 of a second off of Sawallich.
Last lap of 31.51 for the leader, Austin Green. And Green out in front for the 2nd time tonight. One of 5 leaders so far with 39 to go here at Charlotte.
Well, this race goes by fast, even with the caution flags we have. As you mentioned, only 38 laps to go. See Sawallich now moving around the racetrack, trying to find a little bit of clean air. A little bit faster than Austin was that lap, about a 1/2
Got a Chevrolet out front. Chevy has not won at Charlotte in the ARCA series since 2001. Right now, they've got 3 of the top 4 cars on the track.
Laney Bice doing a nice job, Brent. Had a top 10 finish at Kansas just a couple of weeks ago.
She was 8th there. She's 10th right now. Amanda has more on Bice.
I talked to her ahead of this race, and she was just talking about the highs and the very highs and the very lows. Guys, I'm going to go back to the racing action for you quickly.
Bice is looking strong there in the 2 car, and it's Austin Green with William Sawallich trying to run him down with 37 to go.
There we Sawallich. Saw him lose a little bit of ground. He gets in that wake of the 82 car of Austin Green's. Got to try to get that a little bit of air on that front end. Try to run a little bit lower, at least peek that left front headlight out a little bit to get some downforce on the front of that 18 car. Some heavy traffic. The last lap, Grant Enfinger was the fastest car on the racetrack.
31 got in the way of the 18 a little bit. Had to check up getting around him.
There's no doubt. I know Matt Ross's guys did some quick repairs to the front of that car. Obviously there was a hole in that front fascia. They've repaired that, but that I think it probably has affected that car a little bit, but still able to run some good lap times and try. Another caution flag now.
Caution with 35 to go. And Green in the 82 out in front of the 18 of William Sawalich in the Toyota. Tim Richmond pulls down pit road in the 27.
Yeah, the right front tire is down on that 27 car of Tim Richmond.
Ottawa, Illinois, 26-year-old Tim Richmond.
He said that damage from that restart crash we had before halfway.
Big time damage with that left rear for Tim Richmond. Caution back out at Charlotte. 34 to go. Race number 5 in the ARCA Menard Series. Austin Green out front. Saturday got practice and qualifying for the Xfinity and the Cup, and then the Xfinity race, and then the Coke 600 coming up on Sunday late afternoon and long into the evening. Longest race on the calendar every year. The truck's getting set to go. We mentioned Tricon Garage has the top 3 spots. Gio Ruggiero on the pole. It's a deep field, and Kyle Busch going to start 12th.
Talk about the 600. You know, back in the day, we ran that thing in the afternoon, and you never knew what kind of weather you were going to get. Sometimes it was in excess of 90 degrees, and talk about a 4.5 hour race.
That's a bear. You finished second here at Charlotte once in your career, right?
Well, in the Xfinity Series to Darrell, but I also was fortunate enough to win here in the Xfinity Series as well, which was the Busch Series back then.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was always a good racetrack.
You've got great memories in this place.
Yeah, I do.
We were going through the media center earlier, and there's some great shots of that era, kind of the golden era, in my opinion.
Probably
late 70s,
early black and white.
Early to late, yeah.
Black and white. Yeah.
Early to late 80s and into the early 90s as well. Well, this race number 5 of the ARCA Menards season so far, we've had a couple of super speedway races, been to Phoenix as well, and our winners to this point, it started with Butterbean at Daytona.
Butterbean wins Daytona, the 18, finishes second. Then Brent Cruz jumps in the 18. He wins Phoenix, and Butterbean finishes second in the 28.
Lawless Allen at Talladega, very impressive finish under caution, and then Queen his second win of the year 2 weeks ago at Kansas Speedway in Kansas City.
And guess who finished second at Kansas?
It would have been that Sawalich.
Would have been that 18.
This is Butterbean earlier. Obviously, blew her right front and tagged the wall and got him deep in the field, and he's had to battle back the rest of the night so far.
Yeah, right now being shown 2 laps down, but there are no cars right now 1 lap down, which means if we were to get another caution, as long as he stays in front of those other cars 2 laps down, he would get the free pass because he would be the highest scored car not on the lead lap. So he's looking for a quick caution right now.
By the way, we showed Brent Cruz, still only 17 years of age. So we won't get to see him at Michigan coming up, but obviously we will in the 18 car on some of those short tracks. He's a talented young kid.
Yes, he is. And road courses as well.
Yeah, roads as well. Pace car pulls off once again. 30 to go when they come to the line. 2/3 of the way into this very entertaining race tonight. Back under green, the 18 of Sawalich edges out in front for the moment of the 82 of Austin Green. And now as they head into the turn side by side.
The Austin Green down on the bottom of the racetrack. They're able to run that corner wide open after these restarts. The shorter way around was able to grab that spot back from Sawalich.
Now the 18 going to try that bottom again with LeVar Scott up into 3rd. It's the 97 of Enfinger falling back to 4th. Green has shown the ability throughout the night to have good restarts and then really pull away and get some separation.
And no damage to that car. You see the damage on the 18. You see Grant Enfinger trying to get to the inside of LeVar Scott for that 3rd spot. Look at LeVar get loose.
He's at the left rear quarter panel, and now door-to-door the 97 of Enfinger.
Great side-by-side battle here for that third spot. Dale LeVar doing a really nice job. He's up in that traction compound. There's some grip up there, Brent.
Battles back on the outside.
No surprise to see LeVar Scott running up in the top 5. So consistent. We talked about him at the top of the show, that he wants to get that, he wants to be stopped, asked the question of when you going to win, when you going to win.
Talked to Lainey Bice earlier, obviously his teammate, and she just really waxed poetic about the tremendous job he's done in helping her out. In that 27, we knew he had damage on that left side, and now whatever they've done to fix it has busted loose again. '82 remains out front, but here comes Sawalich with a great run.
Close enough now maybe to get that 82 of Austin Green a little bit loose. You see him wiggling a little bit.
Good battle here. Sawalich trying to get his car back to the point with 26 to go. Boy, he's there.
Just see him to get dipped down to try to get that left front down out of the wake of the 82. Then Austin Green drove his car right down to the yellow paint as well. I mean, excuse me, the blue paint as well.
Great racing at the front. Austin Green in the 82, Sawalich in the 18.
See, there's Sawalich just trying something different. Trying to get some air on the nose. Obviously, that nose is compromised by the damage from that restart crash. Austin is doing a really nice job putting that car where William Sawalich's car wants to be.
Battle for third. LeVar Scott trying to hold off another run from that 97 Enfinger.
Same situation for Grant right now. As for Sawalich, trying to get some clean air. He does have a little clean air, but it looks like LeVar Scott is really using that resin to his advantage up there. There's a lot of grip down there in 1 and 2. Let's see what he does down here in 3 and 4. See, he's got the right sides now. For a moment, he was down in that traction compound, then dipped down below it. Ooh, Grant into the wall coming off turn 4. Slight contact.
Finger into the wall with 23 to go. We remain green here at Charlotte.
Yeah, just slight contact. I don't think it'll do much damage to that 97 car. But that's how hard these guys are running here. Watch Grant coming off turn 4. Watch his contact right there. Looked like LeVar almost got into the wall, and Grant did. Well, I'm not sure LeVar might even have touched it just slightly, but Grant definitely did.
Enfinger was right in his tire tracks and a bit too much up the racetrack from the 97. But here he is again, going back after the 6 of Scott. 22 to go. 0.5 of a second lead for Green on Sawalich. And Alex has more on Sawalich.
Talking about William Sawalich in that 18 trying something different. Well, his spotter came over the radio, Tony Hirschman, and said you have to use aero and outsmart him. So you guys are right. He is trying something different. He just can't quite catch up to that 82.
Yeah, and Alex, that front end is obviously compromised, as we've talked about with all the damage. They've done a good job as they could repairing that car, but it's not what it was for sure. But Austin is doing a great job, especially when the 18 of Sawalich was really close to him, of putting that 82 car where he felt like Sawalich wanted to be.
Talked about the bloodlines for the 82. Austin's dad, David, has one ARCA win. It was 1992 at Nashville Fairgrounds. His uncle, Jeff Green, won 2 Xfinity races right here in 2001 as well as 2002.
I really want to give a call to this 40. This is Andrew Patterson. He's from nearby Statesville, North Carolina, doing an outstanding job here. He's running behind Cletus a few moments ago, was able to get by him for that 6th spot, but a terrific job by that 40 of Andrew Patterson.
Started 15th, at lap 20 he was 10th, and here he is. Just outside of the top 5 for that 40 car.
He only has 5 career starts coming into this race. Doing a nice job. Going to get him a solid top 10 if he can hold on. There's Butterbean. Again, still 2 laps down. He needs 2 caution flags, not just 1. He needs 2 caution flags.
He was running 3rd on lap 12, that 28 car, before he blew a right front and ended up in the wall and had to come down. So he has had to battle back from that point.
Really smart by Andrew Patterson. Just give him the bottom of the racetrack. He's going to give him the bottom when he gets down here in turn number 1. His crew is telling him, you're not racing that 28 car. Nice job by Andrew Patterson.
And Amanda with more on him.
I was talking to him prior to the race, and he actually works at Jordan Anderson Racing, and said that the experience there and from other jobs within racing, he felt that he had enough confidence to step out and start his own team, and that's why we see him here in the Andrew Patterson Racing race car. But Phil, I was talking to him prior to the race, and you said that he's running in the top 10. He told me if he finished there, it would be an absolute dream come true.
Well, he's holding a pretty wheel right now, Amanda, that's for sure.
This recent race in the ARCA Menards Series is an IRP finish 12th last July for Patterson. 16 to go here at Charlotte. Austin Green remains out front. Just over a second on Sawalid. She has led 35 of the 84 completed laps.
He's got a little bit of a gap now. Somewhat comfortable gap right now, but going around some lap cars as you see Sawalid drive underneath the lap car with that Starkey Toyota. He's not done racing this weekend. We'll see him in the Xfinity race tomorrow.
Can't wait.
Gibbs Racing.
He's had a couple of top 10s so far this season at COTA as well as Atlanta.
And these laps are going to help him there. He might not win this race. He might not be able to catch Austin Green, but these laps will help him for that Xfinity race.
Big time. For his confidence as well. We talked about that it's been a challenging season in his first year as a full-time Xfinity driver. And how about the 25 of the doctor, Patrick Staropoli, up into the top 10.
And we talked about him getting that opportunity a number of years ago with that Peak Challenge. That was right here. Right here is at this racetrack is where he won that award. And he's side by side with Laney Bice. Got a little bit of loose down there. That was Sivovri Toyota. Such a heartbreak for him at Kansas. Had a good car. Kansas lost an engine really early on. But another solid top 10 run here for Patrick Staropoli.
Yeah, the 25, Staropoli back running for Venturini this week. The retinal surgeon. 13 to go. There's Enfinger in 4th behind the 6 of LeVar Scott, who started 9th. He was 5th at lap 22 and into 3rd here getting late.
Caught a glimpse of Laney Bice in that battle with Staropoli. She's done a nice job battling back. She had some damage from that restart crash we had. A lot of tape and Barabond on the front of her Rev Racing car. She's again up in the top 10 just like she did at Kansas.
So good for these young drivers, right? To have to fight through adversity. I mean, maybe not in the moment, it's not fun, but over the course of time, I would think you would look back and say, all right, we had to go through that. Maybe it was a good learning opportunity.
Saw Grant Enfinger way up the racetrack trying to find some more grip, and you see all the momentum he's gaining right now on LeVar Scott. LeVar had to go around a lap car. Both these drivers putting that traction compound to good use. Enfinger was the fastest car on the racetrack that last lap. Look how high he is, Brent. Up above the top seam. And look at the momentum he's going to get coming up off the corner.
Enfinger has found something at the top of the track here late in the race.
I like that move. He knew that LeVar Scott was going to run middle to top, so why not doing something different? How about LeVar Scott getting sideways?
He wiggled the 6 car there, was able to keep it straight, and Enfinger is right there at his left rear quarter panel. And the 6 drops down and shuts him off.
Still wiggling with that 6 car. I think Grant Smoot's going to be down in 3 and 4, running the top side of the racetrack. I don't know if LeVar will get up that high. Look at that. Look at that 6 car wiggle in front of him. LeVar is doing a great job with his hands full with that car. And they're chasing down Sawalich. That's Sawalich just about a half a dozen car lengths in front of LeVar Scott. There's Grant up at the top of the racetrack again.
So much damage to the nose of that 18, and he has just not been able to do, I'm sure, what he expected to do with the 82. And as you mentioned, now Scott and Enfinger are making up ground.
Yeah, they're both a good bit faster than Sawalich. Sawalich now is going to have to take his time around. Tony Cosentino, give a call to him too right now, running in the 11th spot for Andy Hillenberg. Just 1 lap down. Look at Grant go around the outside. Is there room?
7 to go here at Charlotte.
We're going to have a great battle for second here in just a moment. I'm sure the spotter, Tony Hirschman, for Sawalich is letting him know where those cars behind him are running. They're finding some speed, some grip in the upper part of the racetrack.
It's Sawalich in the 18 trying to hold off the 6 of LeVar Scott in the 97 of Grant Enfinger, while the 82 tries to run away with this thing, Austin Green.
We saw the momentum from Enfinger. He's going to be able to use that momentum from the high side to grab that 3rd spot from LeVar Scott. Try to chase down that 18 of Sawalich. And Grant's definitely not as good down in 1 and 2 as he is here in 3 and 4 from the high side. He's going to have some momentum on the 18 of Sawalich.
To the top of the track to 97, trying to go around the outside of the 18, Sawalich, and it is Enfinger into 2nd place.
How about LeVar Scott? He's going to try to follow him through.
The 6 of Scott runs the top as well, and he goes by the 18.
We've talked all year about the battle between the 28 and the 18. Well, neither one of those drivers is going to get to victory lane, but again, just like last year, the 82 teammate to the 28 is awfully good. And Austin Green right now has a 3.5 second lead over Enfinger.
Driving that Pinnacle Racing Group Chevrolet, the 24-year-old from Concord, North Carolina, Austin Green, 4 to go. He's got the lead here at Charlotte.
Now he's just holding his breath. Said, please don't let's not see any caution flags here. Remember, the ARCA drivers have to take the checker flag on the racetrack. Unlike the other NASCAR series, if the caution comes out on the last lap, we will have a 1-lap overtime finish. I'm sure Austin would just assume me not mention the fact that that's a possibility.
Exactly.
But what a nice job by this young man. So many legend car wins and Bandolero wins here at this racetrack.
He's run 3 Xfinity races so far this season. Hasn't had a ton of success. Had 3 top 10s last year, though, and here he is making his 2nd career start in the ARCA Menard Series, and he's got a 3.2 second lead with 2 to go.
A couple lead lap cars right in front of him. That's Staropoli right there in that blue and white car, and Thad Moffitt right in front of Staropoli. Easily by Staropoli. Staropoli gave him plenty of room on the bottom of the racetrack.
White flag in the air, 1 to go here at Charlotte. It's Austin Green with a 3-second lead.
Doesn't need to push the issue here with Thad Moffitt. He's going to try to go by him anyway, and drives by him. Thad Moffitt gave him that outside.
Gave him the top down the back stretch in the 82 Chevrolet. Running for Pinnacle Racing Group, Austin Green. Austin Green coming off the final turn. And the 82 car of Austin Green takes the checkered flag at Charlotte Motor Speedway.
What a great drive. There's Shane Huffman right there. Shane is not the normal crew chief. Stephen Dawson is on the 28, but when they run two cars, Shane's the crew chief, and Shane's going to get the crew chief win.
In his second career ARCA Menards Series start and first in 5 years, Austin Green with his first career win in this series.
Down in the garage, I saw his dad, David, over there talking with Austin. You know this is going to be a big win for the Green family.
He led 51 laps, and he got better and better the later this race got. And he becomes the 9th driver to get their first career ARCA win here at the home of NASCAR, Charlotte Motor Speedway.
I know Austin dreamed about doing donuts on the start-finish line after a big win like this.
What a moment. And what a race here in our 5th of 20. In the ARCA Menards Series here in 2025. We had so many storylines that we documented coming into this race. I don't know if either of us thought that it would be Austin Green taking the checkered flag, but here he is.
Yeah, we knew he would be a contender, but the 18 and the 28 were so strong in practice. They appeared to be the two best cars, along with the 69 of Will Kimmel.
Austin started 4th in this race on the outside of row 2. He leads 51 laps and wins it.
What a huge day for that young man.
The 24-year-old from Concord, North Carolina, in that Pinnacle Racing Group Chevrolet takes the win to kick off this fantastic motorsports weekend, and Alex is standing by with a winner.
We talked about it in those final closing laps. Austin Green, the history that your family has in NASCAR, the history that you have at this racetrack. You grew up as a kid racing beneath the shadows of Charlotte Motor Speedway, and now you win on the big track. How does it feel?
I mean, it's the greatest, obviously getting to race at home and have the success and let alone win. I haven't won in a while, so yeah, the last couple laps was just, tearing up a little bit, but no, just hats off to everyone at PRG and Overplay Games. I brought a wicked fast car. I think short run, could have been a little bit better, but I think with traffic and kind of learning how to do the whole aero blocking deal, and I don't know, it was a good day, and you made a lot of good changes, and it was a really solid car. And it's my sister's 28th today, so I guess there's no better present.
Well, we talked about your career and the twists and turns and the roller coasters. What kind of statement does this make of you being deserving of an opportunity?
Yeah, no, I mean, obviously you're always going to have those people that, say, oh, he didn't make this race, or, he finished 30th in this race. So I think everything's just kind of falling into place. It's all God's timing. And, I think today we showed people what we can do. And, it was a good race with Enfinger and the 18. So they're really, really solid, and congrats to them as well.
Austin Green is your winner here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. The hometown kid gets his first ever ARCA Menards Series. Amanda, who do you have?
Alex, I got a guy that's got to go get ready for a trucks race. And Grant, it looked like the car came alive there at the end. What did you find?
It did. I feel like the second half of both those runs, we had good pace. The first run, I was a little loose. We were really loose in practice here. So Frank, Doug Howell, all these guys at CR7 Motorsports, they did a great job adjusting the car. It was way better than it was in practice, but I think I asked them to over-adjust it a little bit there. So got tight there at the end. It's fun racing with these guys. I think if I could have shooken out into second place a little sooner, maybe we would have had something. But congratulations to Austin and David Green. I know that's a special feeling for them. But yeah, we had good speed. Got the top line working in 3 and 4. Feel like the first half of the run we were making all our money in 1 and 2, and then the second half of the race we were making it in 3 and 4. So track was racy tonight. I feel like they did a good job with the prep, and hopefully we can make as many improvements on our truck as we did the car.
And Grant had the first thing out of the race car, went over to LeVar Scott with a big handshake, guys.
And they both were able to get by the 18 of Sawalich, and our second Reese's sweet move of the race was late there when he did take it 3 wide, moved into second.
Did a little bit of a twofer there for Grant Enfinger. It was a nice move by him. Great job by Grant Enfinger, that entire team led by Frank Kimmel to get this runner-up finish.
Visit ARCARacing.com Monday 3 Eastern time to see who's crowned Reese's sweet move of the race. That one going to be tough to beat. Enfinger finishes second and gets ready for the truck race coming up 8:30 Eastern here on FS1. Austin Green in the 82 Chevrolet. What a win for the Green family here tonight at Charlotte Motor Speedway. More to come. '24-year-old Austin Green in victory lane, his first career win in the ARCA Menards Series, and it feels so sweet here. Growing up in the shadow of this track, Charlotte Motor Speedway. What a way to kick off the weekend. A Reese's sweet move of the race. Our final nominee would have to be the burnout there.
Pretty good one.
Visit ARCARacing.com Monday 3 Eastern to see who's crowned Reese's sweet move of the race. All right, down on pit road, let's check in once again with Amanda.
And it is now officially 19 top 5 finishes for LeVar Scott. And LeVar, I know you battled this race car all night long. How tough is that?
It's tough, but I was just talking to somebody about this a few minutes ago. That is the prime example of rev racing. I mean, the never quit mentality from where we started this day off, speed-wise and handling-wise. I'm very confident myself and my team's ability, but I wasn't too optimistic today, I'll be honest. But my crew chief, Glenn, worked at it all day, and car chief Ryan and the team just made good adjustments all day, and, we came away with the P3 finish. So that's just rev racing, the never quit mentality.
Well, congratulations to LeVar. We know he's still looking for that first career win. We'll have to push it at least another race. And Andy Jankowiak, it was a 5th place finish for you. What will your thoughts be leaving Charlotte?
Man, we just built loose as the run went on. We fired off great every time. The thing was so fast. I really thought today was going to be a day we might be able to win one, but it would just get freer and freer. We just couldn't handle that lap traffic. But proud of my guys. Want to thank Acacia Energy, Wheelan, Automotive Consultants of Ithaca, Florida Safety Systems, Yukon Creek Sportsman Club, and Dax Markets. Want to say hi to our car owner, Kevin, back home, and my best friend, Steve. We love you all. We miss you, and we'll see everybody soon.
Well, guys, I know you were talking ahead of the race that Cletus McFarland always has a lot of media around him. Well, he also has an entourage hanging out with him tonight. You can see Carson Hocevar as well as Top Fuel driver Clay Milliken back there. And Cletus, we watched it unfold for you, and I heard you say, I blew it. What a rookie mistake. It'll still be a great finish for you tonight. How will you digest it?
Yeah, I want to start off by apologizing to the team that I took out. I think it was several cars, and I feel terrible about that. Every time I go racing, I don't want to get taken out, and I've felt it. It sucks. I've been sent home, and I made a complete rookie maneuver on the restart, and I zigged and then I zagged, and then he got on. He was blowing my door off, and on the zag, I hit him and I put him in the wall. I feel terrible about it. I know those guys worked hard to be out here, and sucks to send them home. So
when do we see you next?
We're planning on going to Bristol, and we don't totally know the plan, but just fired up to be here. Just get out here in Charlotte. This was 100 times harder than a super speedway. I got humbled, on that restart. Made it to the front row for the first time. Hit the pace car, which had me so fired up to hit the throttle. I forgot there's no dang restrictor plate on this thing. I'm like, wham! gave her the beans. She steps out again, and then I clip that dude. So it just feels bad, but we'll move forward. Where'd we finish?
Right there, 9th.
9th. Better than ever, but still sucks. You ain't first, you're last. Quote Ricky Bobby. So, I don't know. Get back out there, try it again. Learned a lot. Never felt a wing get clipped off me when someone got on my outside, freaking yanked me off the track. It was like getting 4 flat tires. It was so interesting. So, a lot of good stuff.
Well, Alex, we see the smile return when he talks about racing ahead at Bristol. Who you got, girl?
Well, the smile may be on Cleta's face, but I'm standing here in Victory Lane with one smiling dad. This is David Green. Now, David is an Xfinity Series champion of 1994, but I see him every Sunday smiling down there on pit road because he's a NASCAR official. But what are the emotions right now watching your son in Victory Lane?
First of all, it was a lot easier to drive than watch him, motion-wise, right? But it's a tough start to the year for him in the Xfinity side, and thanks to Shane and all the folks at Pinnacle Racing for giving him this opportunity, overplay, to do some ARCA stuff. And man, tonight was a perfect recipe for a good finish, obviously, right? But I was very proud of him each and every week that he gets to race, that his racecraft, his demeanor on the racetrack, whether he wins or second or whatever, right? Just, I'm so proud of him. So proud. Thank you.
Well, I know that your son grew up racing legend cars here, Bandolero cars. He has a start at the Oval, or at the Roval here at Charlotte, but this is the first time we saw him on the 1.5 mile of the big track. Did you give him any pointers to go after this checkered flag?
Well, yes and no, and I kind of joked with him. I said, you know, you've been on this track before, and he said, no, I haven't, Dad. I said, yes, you did. You drove Timmy Latica's legend car, summer shootout, had great success there. You ran the Roval with the Peterson group on the Xfinity side. And so, yeah, you've been around the racetrack. Maybe one small section you haven't ran at 170 mile an hour. But, you know, I'm just so proud. He fell right into place. He knew what to do. And there's no coaching from my end of it. Maybe Uncle Jeff and Uncle Mark, but not Dad. So.
A racing family. It's his older sister's birthday today. He gets his first ever ARCA Menard Series. I think the party's at the greenhouse tonight.
That's a safe bet. David Green, the Xfinity champion back in 1994. His son gets it done. Austin Green takes the checkered flag in the General Tire 150. We wrap things up next from here in Charlotte.
Hey everybody, Kyle Petty here. Thanks for joining me as General Tire delivers ARCA's greatest moments. Now everyone associates racing with Charlotte Motor Speedway. It's NASCAR's backyard after all. But believe it or not, the ARCA Menard Series didn't race here from 2004 all the way until 2018. But when the green flag finally dropped in the General Tire 150, Brandon Jones delivered an unforgettable performance. Jones started in the middle of the pack, kept his nose clean, and quickly made his way into the top 5, handling the 1.5 miles with ease. He'd survived 2 late restarts and fended off a late charge by Riley Hurst to give the fans a night to remember as ARCA reclaimed the Queen City spotlight. That's what ARCA racing is all about. Fresh faces, great racing, and a track that tests every bit of your talent. I'm Kyle Petty. Thanks for watching. General Tire delivers ARCA's greatest moments. We'll see you next time.
Another great moment here tonight, kicking off the best weekend in motorsports in the General Tire 150. And Austin Green, for the first time in his career, takes the checkered flag in the ARCA Menard Series. Enfinger, a great move late to finish in second place.
You see Walsh with all his damage gets a 4th place finish. Great top 5 by Andy Jankowiak. And Andrew Patterson said if he could run all the laps and finish in the top 10, it would be a dream. Well, he got that dream.
Butterbean got into the wall early in this race. He cut a right front tire. He finished 14th. And obviously, on down the line, I think one of the storylines we need to revisit is Will Kimmel getting the pole. They blew an engine, unfortunately, but he led 12 laps. They have nothing to hang their heads about tonight.
Yeah, without a doubt, nothing at all. Great effort by the Kimmels, and we'll hope to see them back soon. But, you know, we talk about the big 2, the 18 and the 28. Well, neither one of those cars went to victory lane, although it was the same team that the 28, owned by Mark and Jerry Webb, that went to victory lane with Austin Green. But a great opportunity for some of these other drivers to have great runs, just like LeVar Scott, people like that.
All right, Indy 500 coverage starts Sunday. Tonight, in 30 minutes, truck race here on FS1.